Good day, everyone, and welcome to the webinar. My name is Jijo Joshua. I am the Regional Manager, Candy Operations here at the RIB CCS Gulf offices in Dubai. Alone, we can do so little. Together, we can do so much. Submitting bids and payment applications timeously and accurately is mission critical for the success of any contracting organization. With the ever-increasing size and complexity of construction projects, coupled with tighter submission deadlines, there arises a need for more than one estimator or quantity surveyor to work on the same project in parallel. In our webinar today, we will be discussing the multi-user functionality within Candy, which allows for multiple users to work on the same Candy project at the same time seamlessly, that effectively speeds up the estimating and project control processes. It is my pleasure to present this webinar to you. We will commence with the basics to ensure that everyone is at a similar level of understanding as we move on to some of the more advanced functionality and setup. Due to the large number of people logged into this webinar, we will not be able to answer any questions during the webinar. However, please do submit your questions during the session with the function provided on screen. We will then collate these questions and get in touch with you. Please note that the webinar will be recorded and you will receive a link to the recording. We host a webinar once a month on various Candy topics. Should you not be able to attend the webinar at the given time frame, please do still register for the webinar, as this will entitle you to receive an email with the link to the recording of the webinar. Now, without further delay, let us get started. The following is our agenda for the day. We will introduce the multi-user environment within Candy and discuss the difference between the single user environment and the multi-user environment. We will then understand the multi-user design and terminology, followed by the multi-user setup and permissions. We will then go on to look at the benefits as well as the limitations working in a multi-user environment, followed by exploring what applications or modules in Candy are available in the multi-user mode. Stay with us till the end and we will share with you our bonus topic for the day, the shared data folder. Please remember that you would qualify to receive an attendance certificate for attending this webinar live. We will close off the session today by introducing you to the Candy Help Center, which is the gateway to Candy's knowledge base, as well as how to access our support lines. So a lot of good and useful information coming your way today. So Candy, as we know it, is a Windows desktop application installed locally. It is not a web application which is accessed by the user via a web browser. So the Candy, by default, in a single user environment or a standalone environment, the Candy data and the license by default sits on the user's hard drive in most cases. So this configuration, the standalone environment, maximizes performance for local users as it does not rely on the network. Work on Candy anywhere, anytime. Meaning I could be in a remote site office in Abu Dhabi with no internet connectivity. I'm not connected to the office network. I could still be pricing a bid in Candy or punching in my monthly valuation quantities for my interim payment claim. Work independently, no problems at all. Why? Because the Candy data and the license is residing on my computer, the C drive or the D drive. However, the complexity and size of modern construction projects require the input from numerous estimators and quantity surveyors working simultaneously on a large bid or project. So we often have this need to collaborate, work in parallel on the same project at the same time because of the timelines, of course. So often the chief estimator, if it was a bid that we are working on together, or if it's post-tender, the senior QS would break up the workload by individual expertise or simply by section of the bill of quantities. Meaning, estimator 1 would be responsible for pricing the earthwork items. Estimator 2 would be responsible for pricing the MEP items. Estimator 3 is responsible for the subcontract packages. Come post-tender, once the job is in progress, the senior QS might divide the job. You might have QS 1 who's updating the valuation quantities, the progress quantities for building number 1. QS 2 is updating the valuation quantities for building number 2, and so on. Now, in this scenario, where you want more than one user to access or work on the same Candy job at the same time, is where you would use the Candy multi-user functionality. So within certain guidelines, the Candy system supports more than one user to be working in a Candy job simultaneously. This is called the multi-user mode, with the users working on a shared job in a multi-user or a shared company. Now, one of the questions that get thrown at us is, Jujo, do I need a special license to be working in a multi-user company? Do I need a shared or a concurrent license to be working in a multi-user company? No. Users with normal standalone license can create and access the multi-user company. So all you need is a minimum of 2 Candy licenses to be able to work in multi-user mode. Okay. So say, all right, let's understand the multi-user design. How does it work? So in the multi-user environment, the shared data must be located on a data server or on the network. So while you're working on Candy, when you're working in a standalone environment, all the data sits on your C drive or on your D drive, wherever your data folder wherever you pointed it to. But in a multi-user environment, the multi-user company or the multi-user folder would sit on a shared area on your network. And where is the shared area created or the shared folder created? The shared folder can be created anywhere on your local area network, preferably on the fastest server. Now, the multi-user shared company, the way that we've designed Candy is, when you're working in a multi-user shared company, we tell Candy to look at the shared folder on the network that you've created with full read and write access to the users who will be accessing or will be working in the multi-user mode. And we would be pointing to that shared folder. So all the jobs that you're working or creating within the multi-user company would be sitting on that shared folder on your network. One of the other common questions that we get is, do we have a lot of, or we come across these cloud storage applications like OneDrive and Dropbox. Does CCS recommend that the shared data folder, the multi-user folder, be located within OneDrive or Dropbox? And the answer is, it is not advisable to have your shared data folder within OneDrive or Dropbox, as it is most likely to corrupt the database if you've got more than one user working on the same database, which is what the multi-user is meant to do. So the multi-user data is not recommended. It's not recommended that you have your multi-user shared data or your shared data folder in OneDrive or Dropbox. Right, so once that we understand the multi-user design, you'd say, okay, tell me who are the users who've got access to the multi-user. So there are 3 categories of users. Category 1, the super user, the protector. So who is the protector? The protector is the person who manages the multi-user company, the functional owner, and would generally be the chief estimator or the managing QS. So what authority does the protector have? And what are the functions of the protector? The protector sets up the multi-user company. He decides who will get access to the multi-user company or enrolls the other users to the multi-user company. He can delete, or the protector can delete any user who is denied access to the multi-user company. The protector can go and access any job within the multi-user company without any restriction. He can go and access any jobs. He can go and change the creator for a job, and he could also go and promote any other user to be a protector. Right? And the second category of users within the multi-user company is what we call as creator. Who is a creator? Anyone who's got access to the multi-user company can go and create a job or a project within the multi-user company. what rights or authority does he have? He can delete any job that he has created. He cannot delete any of his colleagues' jobs. He can only delete the job that he has created. He can add enroll users to the job. He can decide who will get access to the jobs that he has created within the multi-user company. And he can also define whether the enroll users can access this project, this job, in a single user or a multi-user, which is a restricted mode, for any of the jobs that he's created, of course. And then we've got the enroll user. So any user who's basically got access to the multi-user company is an enroll user. And he can go and create a job by which he becomes a creator for the job within the multi-user company. And we will see each of these roles in detail as we get into the software. Now let's look at the multi-user setup and permissions. So let's start with looking at the system recommendations. What are the system recommendations? And you would notice that it's not heavy on the system, or you don't need any heavy infrastructure, IT infrastructure to be in place to be using the multi-user company. It's very basic. We would recommend that all machines where Candy is installed, you've got the Windows 10 operating system. The data server, where the shared data folder is located, should be running Windows Server 2012 revision 2 or the later versions. Similar configuration for the application server if you've got one. The Microsoft recommended combination of the desktop operating system, the data server, and the application server, as well as the antivirus is recommended. All the Candy enroll users, all the users who will be working in the multi-user company or in the multi-user mode must have the same version of Candy installed on their machines. It is recommended that they work on a LAN connection, have a LAN quality connection. Wi-Fi networks are not recommended. It can work on Wi-Fi networks, no doubt, but it's not recommended. And the preferred file operating system, it should be Windows NTFS or later. So as a Candy user, you don't really have to worry about the system recommendations. You just need to pass this on to your IT team, and that's the department that would ensure that the system recommendations are met. So once you know what the system recommendations are, let's go and look at the multi-user setup. So who would be doing what? Let's start with the IT department. What's the responsibility of the IT department in the multi-user setup in Candy? So the IT department, besides confirming that the system recommendations are met, what they are responsible is for creating the shared folder on the network. So to show you what they do, or what they should be doing, I would just tab across to my server. So this is my server, and this is what the IT team should be doing for you to set up the multi-user company. They must go and find an area on your server. I've identified an area on my Y drive, which is and I've mapped it by the network name, the Y drive. You could call it whatever you like. And on my network, within the CCS apps folder, I've decided that this is the area, or this is the folder where I would be keeping all my shared jobs. So that's the CCS multi folder. So this is what the IT team has to do for you. They have to create this shared folder, all right, in an area which is accessible to all the users who want access to the multi-user shared company, who want to be working concurrently, and all the users, the group, they might create a user group. The IT team might create a user group for these Candy users who want access to the multi-user company, and all the users must have full read and write access to this folder. So once the IT team has created this folder, what would be the next step? The next step, once the IT team has confirmed the system recommendation, created the shared folders that you need, the next step would be for the protector to go and create the multi-user company. Now, how would the protector go about doing that? Let's do this. Let me move on to my Candy screen here. So this is my Candy screen. I am going to be acting as the protector for this webinar. I would be the protector, the chief estimator, or the managing QS. Now what I've done, for demo purpose, I've shown you a data area or a data folder with the multi-user company already set up. So you would see this screen you're very familiar with. You already know. You've been working on Candy, and you could see that the data area that we are pointing to is on the D drive on my computer. I'm pointing to my D drive, and here I've got companies A, B, and C. GJ Tenders 2020, GJ Tenders 2021, GJ awarded projects. All these companies A, B, and C are sitting on my D drive. These are local companies on my D drive. And then besides these local companies, you've got two shared companies. One is the estimating multi-user shared. Another shared company is the estimating network master. Now, the multi-user shared company and the network master company are both pointing to a shared folder on the network. The network master company is a shared company. The purpose of the network master company is to hold all the master jobs or the reference libraries for your company. So there's a different functionality, or though both of them are shared company, there's different functionality for the estimating network master. The estimating network master would be tackled in a separate webinar. For this webinar, we would concentrate on the estimating multi-user shared company. All right. Okay, so all these jobs, company A, B, and C, I could create up to 24 local companies on my D drive, and I've got the facility to have two shared companies. Okay. The shared company, the estimating multi-user shared company, is pointing to a shared folder on the network. All right. So this is how you would set up, or this is a demo for how your company structure would be when you've got local companies and you've got a shared company. Now, for the purpose of this webinar, I'm going to access a data path where I've not set up the multi-user shared. And I'm going to take you through the steps of setting up a multi-user company on a protector's machine. So I am deemed as the protector for this webinar. I'm the chief estimator, the managing QS, and I will be the responsible for setting up the multi-user company and enrolling users to the multi-user company as well. So let me go and start doing that. Before I go and set up the multi-user company, let me show you the company menu and the user details on the company menu. And we all know this form. We all filled in this form when you install Candy for the first time. It carries your name, the company name, the division or the department that you belong to, your phone number, your email address, the mobile number. And it's recommended that you have these details filled in and correct and updated. Why? Because when you send us a support email from the system, this information gets attached to the email and we know which number to contact or which email address should we contact you back on. Now, one thing that you might have seen but you've not paid much attention to is the personal ID. Now, the person ID, or the user ID as we would call it, is a 3-character ID to informally identify you among your colleagues in various places. So it's an ID that is used within Candy, and you can use it as your initials or whatever. So each user, each Candy user in a company, it's recommended that has a unique ID. So I've selected my ID to be GJ Joshua. My colleagues might have a different ID. So each user, especially when they're working in a multi-user mode, it's recommended that each user has a unique ID. They are identified on the multi-user company using this initial. So this could be a 3-character ID. I've chosen to go with 2 characters, up to you. Right, so we know what the person ID is, or the login ID is. Let's click on OK. And then he said, all right, Jojo, I know what the ID is. I want you to help me set up the multi-user company. The IT team has already given me the folder on the network. So let's go and connect to that folder. So how do I set up the multi-user company here on my data area? This is what I do. Tools, go to the multi-user options, and then select the option to connect to the multi-user folder path. The multi-user folder path should be mapped to that shared folder that we created on the network where we said that our multi-user jobs or data would be. So how do I make sure? I just click on Browse, and I know that my IT team has given me an area on my network, the local network, and he's created a folder called CCS Multi. So I would just make sure that the path is pointing to the CCS Multi folder, and then I'd click on OK. So what I've done is I've pointed to the multi-user shared or the multi-user folder on the network from Candy. The next step would be from the Protectors PC Tools, multi-user and select the option to set up the multi-user shared company. So I'd go and select the option multi-user shared company. Note that this is an admin privilege or an admin right. I'll just go and click here, and it says, listen, Juju, you pointed us to the multi-user shared company. You pointed us to the folder where you want to set up the multi-user company on your network. Now, for you to set up the multi-user company, you need an setup password. And this password, the multi-user setup password, is provided or is given to you by the CCS team. So you must contact your local CCS offices to get this password. Once you've got the password, you enter the CCS provided password here, the setup password here. Click on OK, and it comes up with the shared multi-user company path. It says, Juju, are you pointing to the right path? And I confirm, yes, this is the path where I want it to look for the multi-user data. That's Y-Drive, CCS apps, CCS multi. That's the path. Your path could be different. That's where I've decided to keep it, or my company has decided to keep my multi-user shared data. Click on OK. And it comes up with the protector details form. So I am deemed, because I'm creating this multi-user company, I am deemed as a protector. Jujo Joshua, that's my initials, my company details, contact details. Confirm it, click on OK. And it says, listen, Jujo, you're setting up this company and you are deemed as a protector. Why don't you go and enter a password for yourself, which you can use for all your future protector functions. So I'm going to enter a password, and this is your password. I reconfirm the password, OK. And the share company has now been added successfully on the company manager. So here you would notice, yes, besides the local companies which are on my D drive, my data folder, on my D drive, I've just created estimating multi-user shared company pointing to the shared folder on the network, the CCS multi folder on the network. So once you've created this folder, or once you've created the estimating multi-user shared company, the next step would be to go and enroll users. You are not the only person who's going to be working within this company, or working on the projects within this company. You have your colleagues who would be accessing the jobs within this company. So how do I give access to my colleagues? So this is what I do. I need to enroll them to this company as a protector. I would right-click on the estimating multi-user shared company, and then select the option Add New Users and Protectors. So I click on the option to add new users and protectors. Add new users and protector. And here it says, listen, Juju, you are accessing a protector function. You're trying to add users to the multi-user company. This is a function that only a protector could authorize or administer. Please enter your protector password, and I go and enter my protector password. And here it shows me the enrolled users list. And I being the protector, I being the person who created this multi-user shared company, I am the only one who's got access to this company now. Okay, so how do I add users? Right click. I want to add my colleague Jay to the multi-user company. I want him to have access to the multi-user company as well. So I click on the option Add New User. I type in his initials. I know his initials are JG. Type in his name, Jay Kishan G. Click on Save, and Jay has been added to the multi-user company. He has now got access to the multi-user company. The access mode, he is logged in, or he has been added as an enrolled user. I want to add my other colleague, Praveen. So his initials is PA, and his name, Praveen Anthony. Save, he's added as an enrolled user as well. Let me go and add Sean now. So that's my colleague, Sean Philimse, added to the list. Let me go and add one more. I'll add my colleague Rupesh Rajan, and you will notice that I've now, besides myself, I've enrolled 4 more users to the multi-user company. Now, what else can I do here? let's say, for example, I want Jay to be a protector as well. I want Jay to be a protector as well. Can I make him a protector as well? Currently, I am the protector. Can I make Jay a protector as well? Can I have more than one protector? Yes, you can. I could right click on Jay and say, okay, I want him to have the same rights as me. Set user as a protector so he can administer the multi-user company while I'm away. So there you go. I've set Jay as the protector. How many protectors can you have in total? You could have up to 3 protectors at any point in time. All right. And you can have as many users as you want. So myself and Jay are the protectors, whereas Praveen, Rubesh, and Sean have got access to the multi-user company. So once you've set up your users, once you enroll your users, let's click on the back arrow to come back to the company manager. Done that. Now I want to access this estimating multi-user shared company. I just double click on the estimating multi-user shared company. I'm accessing the estimating multi-user shared company for the first time that I've opened or I've created it. Asked me to enter the password, my password, the login password. I enter my password, click on OK. And it says, listen, Jojo, you're accessing the estimating multi-user shared company. You have to enable the estimating or the job manager. So do you want to access this as a single user? I'll say yes, log on as a single user. So here I am now within the estimating multi-user shared company. And you would notice that the data area that it's pointing to, or the estimating multi-user shared company, is pointing to the Y-Drive CCS Apps multi-folder. Right? Let me go back one step. This is my data folder, all my companies, and you would notice that this, all the local companies, companies A, B, and C, are pointing to the D drive. All the projects that I'd be working on within these companies would be saved on my D drive. However, the jobs that I'm working within the multi-user shared company, I double click on it, enter the password, are saved on the Y drive CCS multi folder, which is a shared folder on your network. And all the other users, your colleagues, would be pointed or would be looking at the CCS multi folder on the Y drive as well to be their multi-user folder. All right, done that. Now, how do I go and add projects? So let's say, for example, I want to create a small structure here. Let me rename this heading as mega projects that we normally work on, the mega projects. All right. When I created the multi-user company, I have a default job, a brand new job that was created with the multi-user company. I could go ahead and rename it. Let me go and rename this job. And it says, okay, listen, Jojo, this is a default job. You're accessing it for the first time. How do you want to access it? Do you want to access this job as a single user or a multi-user? The multi-user obviously is grayed out because this is the first time that I'm accessing this job. It's single user mode only. This job is empty. So I just click on log on. It says, okay, what do you want to do with this? This job, I would like to rename. This is my Etihad Rail project. One of the bigger projects that I'd be working on. Yes, so I've added the Etihad Rail project here onto the multi-user shared company. Say, all right, can I add more projects? So I am the protector for this multi-user company. I can obviously go and add more projects into the multi-user company. I've got a project that I was working on partly. I've almost finished pricing it, or I'm halfway through. I can recover any of my projects from my local companies here if I wanted to. I'm going to do this. I'm going to right click, recover from folder. And what I've got is I've got a Candy demonstration job, a job that I've prepared for this webinar that I'd be using, a sample job that we would price together with Jay, my colleague. So I'm just going to recover the Candy demonstration job into the multi-user shared company. And then you'd say, all right, Jojo, how many jobs can you have within the multi-user shared company? You can go and create a maximum of 99 jobs or 99 projects within the multi-user shared company, as you could do with any other company. And once you've exceeded that limit, you can either go and archive your old projects to make way for the new ones, or you could go and create another multi-user network and point and create a multi-user company and carry on there as you like. So here I've got the Candy demonstration job created. All right. And then you say, all right, but Jijo, these jobs that you've created on your machine, all of this activity, you've created the multi-user company, you've added 2 projects within the multi-user company, all of this action is happening on your computer, the Protector's PC. What happens on Jay's machine or any of the other users who are going to be having access or going to have access to the multi-user shared company? What would happen on their machine? What needs to be done? So what I've done is I've got connection to Jay's machine via TeamViewer. I'm going to tab across to show you what happens on enrolled users PC. So Jay is one of the enrolled users. In fact, I've made him a protector to the multi-user company as well, as you saw earlier. And these are his jobs. And you would notice that I have selected a different background color for Jay. He's got a green background, whereas I had a blue background, just so that we can distinguish between Jay's machine and mine. I'm connected to Jay's machine via TeamViewer, and you will notice that Jay has got his data folder pointing to his C drive. So there is his C drive. All the jobs that he's working on independently are on his C drive, but there are certain projects where we need to collaborate, we need to work together, and that's the reason why we had created the multi-user company. So I'm going to point him to the same multi-user shared company that we've created just now. So how do we go about doing that? So on Jay's machine, the enrolled user's machine, I will go to Tools, Multi-User. We don't need to set up the multi-user shared company because I've already done it from my machine, the Protector's PC. I just need to connect to the multi-user folder path. So the multi-user folder path, you must make sure that all the users you need access to the shared company must have the same multi-user folder path. In our case, the path should be on the server within the CCS apps folder, the CCS multi, and I've mapped that path with a drive name Y. So there you go. We've pointed to the CCS multi folder. I've made sure that Jay's machine is also pointing to the same CCS multi folder on our network. Click on OK. So now that we've pointed him to the right folder, the next step in the process would be Tools, Multi-User. All right, let's create an entry on Jay's computer. Let's create a multi-user shared company. So here, shared company added successfully. So a multi-user shared company is now added onto Jay's machine. So beside his local projects, company A and company B, which are on his C drive, he's also got the multi-user shared company. Now let's double click on Jay's machine. Let's try and double click the multi-user shared company. And it says, Jay, you're entering the multi-user shared company for the first time. That's your initials and the username. Do you want to go and enter a password? Please go and enter a password for yourself. And I've done that. He goes and enters a password for himself. Let's click on OK. And now you could see the same projects that I'd created within the multi-user company from my machine, and you could see and access this project in real time. The Etihad Rail and the Candy demonstration job is added here. All right. Now, the question is, can an enrolled user go and add projects within the multi-user company? Can Jay go and add projects within the multi-user company? Yes, he very well can. So let me do this. Or on Jay's PC, he says, okay, you know what? There are certain projects that I've been working on that I would like some collaboration, or that I would like to have some inputs from other estimators. Can I bring them here? Yes, you can recover like I did on my machine. Let's use this project, the Villa project. So he's recovered one of his projects within to the multi-user company. Log on as a single user. And there now, Jay has gone and successfully created or recovered a project within the multi-user company. Now, if I double click on the Villa MEP project that he's just recovered in the multi-user mode, Candy will ask him, okay, when you double click to access, say, okay, listen, Jay, do you want to access this job as a single user mode or as a multi-user mode? Single user meaning unlimited access, all modules are open, and multi-user is obviously, since you're working in a multi-user environment, in a shared environment, there will be some restrictions. Okay, I want to access this job in a single user mode is what Jay says. He clicks, and you will notice that the same familiar Candy interface is available. So you'll notice that Jay is working in the Candy multi-user shared on the Villa MEP project. The same Candy interface, all the modules within Candy, estimating, planning, link and forecast, cash flow, valuations, the subcontract manager, the costs and liabilities, materials, drawings, all these modules are active. Let's click on B to open up the bill of quantities for this project. So there is the very familiar bill of quantities, the worksheets, the resource list, all the functionality. So none of, even though you're working within a multi-user shared company, none of your Candy functionality is compromised, right? And Jay is the only user who's accessing this job or this project at this point in time. All right, done that. Let's click on the Candy button, and we are back on the estimating multi-user shared company on Jay's machine. And you would notice that here on the right-hand side, it tells you that Etihad Rail and the Candy demonstration job was created by GJ, that's me, and the Villa MEP project was created by JG from Jay's machine. Right, so let's just go tab across to my machine to check, okay, that project that Jay just created, the Villa MEP, does it appear in your multi-user shared company? Yes, it does, and it should. Why? Because we are pointing to the same CCS multi-folder on the network for the multi-user company, right? So we're pointing to since we're pointing to the same folder, any jobs created by any of the users who are enrolled to the multi-user company would be visible, all right? And then you would say, all right, but can I be selective while I'm giving access? Yes, everyone has got access. All the 5 users have got access to the multi-user shared company, the users that we enrolled. But can I be selective when I'm giving access to certain projects? Let's just go and have a look. So this is now my machine. This is the Candy demonstration job. I double click on it. Again, when you're entering a job, if no one else has accessed it, it says, listen, Jijo, do you want to access this job in a single user mode or a multi-user mode? And I say, okay, you know what, I would like to give some access rights. I would like to look at the access rights, which could only be done in a single user mode. So I want to access this job in a single user mode for the first time. Log on. And all the modules in Candy, estimating, planning, link and forecast, cash flow, all of them are open. The bill of quantities is available to me, and so on. And the resource list. So you would notice the bill of quantities. I've got 7 pages on this bill. I could go and scroll through all the pages at once. So I can view the BOQ in a multi-page mode. I could double click, open up the worksheets. All that functionality is available within Candy. Now I'd say, all right, you know what, Jijo, this is a shared job. I want more than one user to be working on this job, and I want to determine who would get access to this particular project, the Candy demonstration job. So you would go to the menu called Housekeeping. Under Housekeeping, you've got the option called User Access Rights. And it tells me, listen, Jijo, you're the only one who's got access to this job at this moment. You are the creator. You're the only one who's got access to this job at the moment. And I want to give Jay, this is a mining project, and I want myself, Jay, and Sean to be working on this project. So how can I add Jay to this job? I can click on the button Add User, and it will show me a list of all the enrolled users. I had added or enrolled Jay with his initials JG. So I want to add him, or I want to give him access to this particular project within the multi-user shared company. And I just say JG, his user name and initials are brought in, save user. So now Jay has got access to this machine. All right, or to this job. What kind of access would you want to give him? Would you want to give him a single user access or full access, or do you want to give him a restricted access, multi-user access? I want Jay to have full access. All right, let me go and add Sean to this job as well. And there is his name. His name is picked up, Sean Filmsay. I can go and pick him from the login list. Save new user. what kind of access do you want to give Sean? I want to give him a multi-user access, restricted access only. So he'll be working in a restricted mode. So you'd say, all right, if I've got 10 users who've got access to the multi-user company, and if I want to give access to all 10, should I go and add user individually for each particular job? You don't have to. You can click on the button Update Enroll. Update Enroll button. And if I say yes, update the access list from the enrolled users list, click on yes. You will notice that the 2 enrolled users that were left out, which was Rubesh and Praveen, have now been added to the job. Now, if we say that no, I don't want to give them access, I want to remove them, I can remove Rubesh or I can remove Praveen. Yes, and only myself, Jay, and Sean have got access to this job now. Myself and Jay in single user mode, but Sean can only access this job in a multi-user mode. So once you've given access to the users for this project, let's come out, let's click on the Candy button, and I'm out of that job. And let me go back in to the Candy demonstration job. Only this time, when Candy asked me, should I access this job as a single user or a multi-user, I'm going to select, you know what, I want to be pricing this job in parallel with Jay. I would be pricing the earthwork items on page number 1 while Jay is busy with the masonry items on page number 5. So I want to access this job in a multi-user mode. Log on. Here, and you will notice that I've entered this job now, the Candy demonstration job, in a multi-user mode, and you would suddenly pick up some changes in the interface. The moment that you go and enter a project in a multi-user mode, certain modules in Candy become off limits, are grayed out. So yes, estimating is available, is active, planning is active, link and forecast is not available in the multi-user mode, cash flow is available, valuations tab is available, the subcontract manager is available in multi-user mode, but the cost and liabilities, materials, and the drawing modules are not available. These are single user applications. All right, so I'm in estimating. Let me open up the bill of quantities. And what we decided as a discipline for pricing was I would be pricing the earthwork items on page number 1. So I am busy pricing the earthwork items on page number 1. I can go and type in my remarks. It says area bounded by retaining wall. I can add my notes. I can double click, go and price my worksheets. I could open up the resource list. I could be pricing this job as I would normally go about and price. So all that functionality is available. What's the difference? In a multi-user mode, I can only access the BOQ in a single page mode, meaning one page at a time. So currently I'm on page number 1. If I click on go to page, I can go to any other page, but you could only work one page at a time. So I can click on go to page. If Jay was pricing the masonry items, and if I try to click on the masonry bill of quantities, it wouldn't allow me because Jay was already working. So normally the estimators or the quantity surveyors would set up the discipline or would agree amongst themselves as, all right, I would be working on pages 1 to 10 and Jay would be pricing, let's say, pages 11 to 20 and so on. All right. So what you would ask me is, listen, Jijo, you said you're pricing page number 1. You are on the pricing the earthwork items on page number 1. While you're pricing the earthwork items on page number 1, can Jay go and price the masonry items on page number 5? Does Candy allow him to do that? Is he allowed to, on his machine, from his machine, can he go and price another section of the bill of quantities? He very well can. So let's tab across to Jay's machine to see what's happening there. All right, so there's the Candy demonstration job, and we've given him access to the Candy demonstration job. Let me double click on the Candy demonstration job, and it says, listen, you can only access this job in a multi-user mode. Why? Because Jijo is already accessing or is already working on this project. So there's no way that you can access, even though you've got a single user access, you can't access this job in a single user mode now because Jijo is already working on this job. So access this job in multi-user mode, log on. right? And you would notice that the modules are inactive: link and forecast, cash, cost and allowables, materials. All those modules are not available in the multi-user mode, even on JS machine, of course. Let's click on open the bill of quantities, B. And here you would notice that it straight away brings him to page number 2. It doesn't bring him on to page number 1 because me, Jijo, I'm working on page number 1, the earthwork items. He could go and access any other bill page. So if I wanted to work on the masonry bill, or if Jay wants to work on the masonry bill, he could go about on the masonry bill page. Masonry bill, he could go and enter the comments. Let's say refer drawing ABC /123. You could go and open up the worksheet on that item. Say, all right, my guys would only be able to lay 100 bricks per square meter, store the worksheet, all the pricing functionality. So while I'm busy pricing page number 1, Jay could be working on page number 5 or any other page for that matter. And once I've moved off, me, Jijo, I've moved off page number 1, the earthwork items, I've moved off that page and I go and start working on page number 2, then Jay can come and start working on page number 1 if you wish. So the control is by the page number, the client page numbers. You can't have more than one estimator or one QS working on the same bill page at the same time. All right, but you could have very well pricing different sections of the bill. You could have a junior estimator or a junior document controller who is helping you with the quantities, punching in the quantities. They can go and enter the punching in the subcontractor rates, or you could help you with the final quantities and so on. What about, okay, let's go and tab across to my screen. Let me go back here and let me go back to my computer. Okay, there you go. I'm still busy pricing page number 1, or any of the other pages. If I want to see the entire BOQ, I could only view it in a read-only mode. So the multi-user bill is only available in a read-only mode. The restriction being, while I'm busy pricing page number 1, I can't have any other user working on the same page at the same time. However, if you want to view the entire bill, we have got an option for you to go and view the entire bill in a non-editable mode. Okay, we call it the multi-user bill in a read-only mode. Let me show you how did I get through to it. Let me open up the bill of quantities, right? And I'm on page number 2 on the bill. I am restricted by the page number that I'm currently working on. I can only work in a single page mode while you have accessed the job in a multi-user mode. So if you want to see the entire BOQ, we have now enabled a new feature in the multi-user mode where you could go to view and then open full bill read only. Open full bill read only, meaning a chief estimator, someone who's reviewing the job, if he wants to see what percentage or how many items are priced, what percentage of the bill is priced, even while myself and Jay are working on different sections of the bill, the chief estimator can access the bill in a read-only mode. And here you would notice that my comments that I've typed in while I'm pricing page number 1 is picked up. If he goes down to the masonry items that Jay was busy pricing with the rates that he has changed, and then remarks have been picked up as well. Right. So this is how you would be working in the multi-user mode. And I mentioned that, yes, the resource list and all of those functionality is available. I mentioned that the subcontract adjudicator is available for one of the other estimators to go and enter the subcontractor rates I say, hey, Jijo, wait, hold on. Why does your subcontract adjudicator looks different to what we've got? So this is a sneak preview to the new adjudicator that we're working on, the subcontract adjudicator 3. It's still in the testing stages and will hopefully be made available to you soon. So this is how the new interface looks like, right? The new subcontract adjudicator 3 that is available in the multi-user mode for you as well. So the subcontract adjudicator, the material adjudicator are available. You'd say, all right, what about the indirects? We also need to price the indirects. So when we're pricing a project, we need to price the direct bill and we also need to price the indirect bill. Let me click on the indirect bill here. And it says, listen, Jijo, if you want to access the indirect bill, you're currently working in the multi-user mode, you must take ownership of the indirect costs. When I say take ownership, the indirect bill, even though you're working in a multi-user mode, is only available to one of the users. So say, I would like to take ownership. I am the chief estimator. I would be responsible for pricing sections on the bill as well as the indirect bill. So yes, the indirect bill is available in multi-user mode, but you must book it out. You could only have one user working on the indirect bill at one point in time. And if I close it, somebody else can then go and open the multi-user mode or book it out. The indirect bill in the multi-user mode. All right, so we have looked at how the multi-user company can be set up. We have looked at how the users can be given access to the multi-user company. We also have looked at how users can be given access to individual projects at that time and how you could be selective. We've seen how what are the restrictions working in a multi-user mode. Right, so let's go back to our PowerPoint. So let's see what we've covered till now. We looked at setting up by the IT department. We looked at setting up done by the protector. We also looked up setting up the enrolled users. What happens on Jay's machine or Praveen's machine? How do we create the multi-user company on there? How do we give a point to the multi-user company from the enrolled users machines? We also looked at how do we go and create jobs within the multi-user company. The next thing that you would like to look at is, all right, Jijo, what are the benefits of using the multi-user company? And the obvious benefits is all the jobs that you create within the multi-user company and the related data is centralized in one place on your data server. It is available on your company's server for you to back up. And so you don't have to go and work on separate copies of the job and then break your heads to bring it all together onto one file. You're all working on one centralized file, one centralized job. So the access of the multi-user is controlled by the protector. So you're working in a protected environment who decides who would have access to the shared environment and the jobs within. And as I showed you, you could be selective. You could have 10 guys or 20 guys enrolled to the multi-user company, but you could only have 16 users working on the multi-user company at any point in time, and you could decide who could be or who would be in that list of users who've got access to the job. The allocated users of a job can log in from any computer connected to the multi-user company via network. So each user has got his own login and password, and you can revoke his login. You can delete any user at any point in time. You can have up to 16 enrolled users or QSs to be working parallelly on the same job at the same time. Different estimators could price different sections of the job concurrently to speed up the tender process. So you saw that I was pricing the earthwork items whereas Jay was busy pricing the masonry items on the same project at the same time. Any changes made in the job are known to and available for all users. So Jay updated the price for the masonry items. He updated the productivity for the masonry item, and that information is available on that file live to me. So once he moves off that page, that information, I can go and access that worksheet or that updates my the totals for my jobs and so on. Now, we also have to look at the limitations working in a multi-user mode, and you would notice that most of the time our strengths are also our limitations. So because we are working in a shared area, we must follow a certain discipline. So changes made by one person to resources. So if I go and change the rate of cement while pricing the concrete items on page number 1, and that same resource code cement is used in the masonry section, JS rates would change, of course. So any changes made to the resources or the global variables or the worksheet would update the entire job. So be aware of that. Now, we all used to working Candy, and you see the calculations in Candy. It's highly responsive, very quick. You just have to click on calculate, and the totals are calculated, be it $1 billion job or whatever. But when you're working in a multi-user mode, certain functions like calculation or printing reports or the analysis might take a little longer than what you're normally used to. So the screen might appear frozen. Why? Because obviously you've got more than one user working on that same file at the same time. So for us to go and calculate or to analyze the entire job, we'll have to make sure that all the worksheets are calculated, all the calculations up, so that you give the right answer. So you might see the response time might go down. The multi-user company and the jobs data, remember we told you it's sitting on the shared folder on your network. So the speed and quality of the network determines your response, the response time of Candy as well. So if you've got the folder set up in a network which has got heavy traffic or has got your ERP traffic going on, so you would notice that the response time goes down. So you'll have to ensure that you've got, and that's the reason that we recommend that your CCS shared data, this multi-user data, sits on your fastest server. So it's not Candy, it's slowing it down, it's probably your network that's slowing it down. So just be aware. So we looked at the pros, we looked at the limitations working in a multi-user mode. Let's go and have a look at what applications are available in multi-user mode. So these are the applications that are available in multi-user mode. And let me tab across to my screen. And you would notice that on my screen, I'm accessing the Candy demonstration job. I'm working in the multi-user mode. And I've shown you, yes, I could access the bill of quantities. Estimating is available in multi-user mode. We said that you could access your resources. You could have more than one user working on the same bill at the same time. Indirects need to be booked out by a user. The planning module, yes, the planning module is also available in multi-user mode. But if I go and try to open up a planning program, it says, listen, Jujo, you can access planning while you're working in the multi-user mode. So while Jay and myself were busy pricing the bill of quantities, Sean, if he was to do a quick program, he could go and access the planning module. But it would ask him, okay, listen, Sean, if you want to use the planning module, you must book it out. Do you want to take ownership? Yes. So once he's taken ownership of the planning module, no one else can work on the planning module at the same time unless he moves out of the planning module. So yes, the planning module is available in the multi-user mode, but you must book it out. One user must book it out. Let's go to link and forecast. The link and forecast is grayed out, so it's not available. The cash flow module, yes, while we are working on the bill and the program, you want to work and create your cash flow. You want to create your cash flow simulation in parallel. It is available in the multi-user mode, but you have to book out your cash flow module the same way that you book out planning or your indirects module as well. Just going to click on no. Valuations, yes, the valuation bill is available in multi-user mode. So there I am in the valuation bill. Okay, so I could go to page, go to the contract, and I could be typing in my valuation quantities for page number 1, whereas J, QS number 2, or any of the other users could be updating the valuation quantities on page number 3 at the same time. So my senior QS or the chief QS, the managing QS, does not have to work on separate copies to update the interim valuation claim for this project. They could be working on the same file. We could have multiple QSs updating quantities on the same file at the same time. The subcontract manager as well is available in multi-user mode. If I go and look at the packages, okay, these are my packages. So one user could be working on the painting subcontractor. while as I can have another user working on my earthworks subcontractor and so on. The cost and allowables, materials, and the drawings module are not available in multi-user mode. So we've looked at the modules in Candy that are available in multi-user mode. Now let's go have a look at the modules that are only available in single user mode. So single user applications like the Candy QTO, the quantity takeoff tool, is only available in single user mode. Link and forecast, cost and allowables, drawings, and the materials. These are the applications that are only available in single user mode. Meaning, if I come back into Candy, let me go back here. Let me open up the Villa MEP project. And I know no one else is on this job at the moment. Let me click on log on. And you will notice that I could go and access any of the modules. So link and forecast is available for me now. The cost and allowables is available. Why? Because you've accessed this job in a single user mode. I come back into Candy estimating. Yes, the estimating is available in a single user mode and a multi-user mode as well. But the QTO tool within Candy is only available in a single user mode, right? So these are the single user applications within Candy. Next online is what we said was your bonus topic for the day, the shared data folder. Now, what is a shared data folder? How is it different to the multi-user folder or the multi-user company? So I would say 80% of the companies that we work with work in the mode that I've just described, the last 40, 50 minutes. They've got local data sitting on the C drive or on the D drive, and they've got one company, the multi-user shared company, which is a company that they create for working or collaborating or for working on shared projects. Now, we also come across companies where the estimation manager says, listen, Jijo, you know what? We've got desktops in our office, and all of us are working from desktops, and all of us want to be mapped to the same data area. We don't want to have any of our jobs or our projects to be sitting on the C drive or D drive on our respective machines. We want the data folder or all the jobs that we're working on Candy to be sitting on a shared area on our network. And I want all our users, I've got 10 estimators or 10 QSs working with me. I want all of them to have the same data folder. So does Candy allow you to have a shared data folder? Yes, you can. And what additional functionality do I get having the shared data folder? Let me show you that. So let me come back to my screen, and you would notice I'm on the company manager, or I'm the job manager. Let me come back to the company manager and the data path. You would notice my data folder points to my D drive. I'm going to add a new data path, I'm going to browse to my network, to my server, and on my server, I've got or set up a CCS data shared folder, I'm going to point to that folder, the CCS data shared. Why CCS data shared? And here you would notice that I've already set up this shared data folder that yes, so all the users in this company would have the same data path. They would all be mapped to the CCS data shared folder. The managing estimator, the chief estimator, can go and set up their company. So I've got, these are my projects in 2017, 2018. You could set it up for per region, per year, as you like, and so on. And what is the benefit here is when I have a local data or local, when I'm pointing to a local data, I have the facility to create 24 local companies and 2 shared companies. But when I have a shared data area, this is what I would do. When I'm pointing to a shared data area, I could go and point my multi-user folder to be same as the data area as well. So I go here and say, okay, you know what? My shared data area is on the server and it is called the CCS data shared. I have just pointed my multi-user folder to be pointing to the same shared data area as well. How does it help me is, or how does it assist me is, now I can go and make any of these companies to be a shared company. I could go and add new users and protectors. So I could share any of these companies. Let me right click. I can add a new company. I can share this company. So here, this company that I've got, estimating 2021, I would want to right click and I can share this company. I can go and enter the password like I set up the multi-user company. So when I'm pointing to a local data area, I can have 24 local companies on my C drive or D drive, and I can have 2 shared companies. Now with the shared data folder, you can have 24 plus 2 up to 26 shared companies. All right. So this is an additional feature that we have. How does it help me is now, or my company is, if I go on to JS Machine, I could have his data path to be mapped. I would have his data path to be mapped to the same network folder, the CCS data shared folder on the network. And yes, he has got the same company and job setup, the same structure repeats here. And yes, so we could, besides having, so you have the facility of having more shared companies if you want to set it up that way, right? Now, that was our bonus topic for the day, if you want to set it up. Now we understand that certain topics, certain terminology might be new to you, might be foreign to you. You would say, Jijo, you've done this so quickly, you've been doing this for a long time. How do we set up the multi-user company within our or within our organization? How do we get in touch with you? So what we've done is, or how do we get access to documentation? You've shown us in a webinar, how do we access? So what we have done for you, we have added our support and the help center within the software. So how do you get in touch with us if you want to enable any of these functionality that we just saw in the webinar and you want to get in touch with us? We have included our contact details in the software. So if I go on to Candy, here just below the version number there is support, and under support there is CCS worldwide. So depending on where you're ringing us from, so if you are in the Middle East, you would obviously be calling our offices in Dubai. That's the Dubai office number. The support emails. Besides the landline number, what we've also done is, we know that construction doesn't stop for weekends. We are hardworking guys. We work late nights. So what we've also done is we've included the emergency contact number. So if you're calling us after hours and if you want to get in touch with us, we've included the mobile numbers for the entire technical team here. Please feel free to send us an email or leave us a text or a WhatsApp, and we will get back to you. So that's the contact numbers. That's how you access our support lines. The next thing I would say is, Jijo, you mentioned about a help center, and we've seen the help center on and off. What is this help center? So the help center can be accessed, as I mentioned when I began this webinar, the help center is the gateway to Candy's knowledge base. So if I click on the support menu and if I click on the help center, what the help center takes you is to our website, and here we've put up a lot of useful information. So let's say, for example, if you are someone new who's getting started with Candy and you want to get started with knowing how to start with estimation, the very basics. We've got our starter guide. You can go and access this starter guide. We've got video tutorials for you to follow. If you are searching for a certain topic, so let's say, for example, you were looking to how to set up the multi-user, you could go and type in the search words, multi-user. And there it brings up all the instances of multi-user on our database. I would like to look at the did you know. You would have noticed that earlier in May, we had sent out a did you know a full-sized write-up on how to set up the multi-user. This was to precede the webinar that we were running in June. So that's all that information available on the Candy Knowledge Base. Plus, you've got also the option to contact our support lines if you wish to do so from our help center. So this brings us back to our PowerPoint and what we've covered during the day, our agenda. We looked at the multi-user, the introduction, the limitations and the benefits of using the multi-user, the applications that are available within in the multi-user mode, and of course the shared data folder and the help center. So we've covered a lot. So I started this webinar with a quote from Helen Keller, and I'm going to end the session with a quote from Steve Jobs, who said, "Great things in business are never done by one person. They are done by a team of people." And I can assure you that RIBCCS team is working tirelessly to add more features and value to our world-class product offerings and solutions in order to make your lives easier and enhance your profitability. You might think, or you might want to ask me the question, how much do we need to pay to use or enable the multi-user functionality, or how many additional licenses do we need to order? And my answer is zero, none. All these capabilities that I've shown you in this webinar are already inbuilt into the licenses that you're running, the Candy software that you're running. All you need is a minimum of 2 Candy licenses and your IT team's assistance to set up the shared multi-user folder on your local network. If you need any guidance setting up the multi-user functionality on your company or in your company, please contact your local RIBCCS support offices or send us an email, and our consultants will be more than happy to assist you. Thank you for your time, and I trust you will find these features useful in your daily use of Candy. Please remember to email the CCS, your local CCS office if you want to know more about these features. We will keep you informed of the next webinar. And remember, if you cannot join on the selected time, please do still register and you will receive the recording which you can watch in your own time. Enjoy the rest of your day and see you at the next webinar. Goodbye for now.